Hello and welcome to another collective reading. Today I really wanted to ask the universe, our guides, anybody who is wanting to bring forward some supportive energy. I wanted to ask what was available for guidance to us at this time. So if you want to just focus your energy and take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is going to be a collective reading. If you're interested in booking a personal reading, you can find me on Instagram. That's the only place that I'm booking currently. But aside from that, we're just going to get into it and see what comes through. So what is available as guidance to us at this time? Do a couple more. Okay. Wow. All right. So, wow. I love this little story that just came through. So the first couple of cards that we have are the Queen of Cups, the Lovers, and the Nine of Cups. And then following that up, we had the Hermit as well as the Star. So lots of major arcana, but overall, every single one of these cards is pretty hard-hitting and potent, in my opinion. With the Queen of Cups and the Lovers coming up, I kind of feel like, in terms of guidance, like embracing and leaning into our own intuition, whether some of us are developing and deepening our intuition right now, or if we are just trying to trust our intuition more, maybe working with our guides more. I always say the biggest mistake people make with their spirit guides is not utilizing them. So maybe it's time for some of us. The other thing that I always get with Queen of Cups is self-care as well. Not self-care in like a physical way as much as like making sure our needs are fulfilled emotionally, making sure we're keeping our own cup full. Because we want to be able to take care of each other and we want to be able to show up for our people. And the best way we can make sure that we can do that is to make sure that we are good first. With the Lovers card coming up as well, weirdly, the first thing that popped up was the word community for me. Taking care of each other. Again, I think that filling in the gaps where other people may not be able to, like just kind of observing. And again, I think that's why the Queen of Cups came out with this card as well, because it feels very much like it's a great time to be a reliable person, to be someone that can be counted on. I think that right now is, and it's always a great time to be someone who can be there to help. The other thing that I'm really feeling with the Lovers card is the perspective of like being at a crossroads, right? Like sometimes crossroads can feel scary because there's a lot of pressure to make the right decision, make the right choice. And I think that when we can zoom out from a broader perspective, it feels like, again, being able to trust your intuition, trust that you can't fuck up what's meant for you, trust that if something is meant for you, it's not going to miss you. You know, if it's meant to be in your life, it's going to be in your life. And the same can be said if something slips away, it's because it's not supposed to be there. And so with the Queen of Cups, with the Lovers, again, it just feels very like finding what feels balanced and harmonious, but also creating that for yourself, and then also maybe being that harmony and comfort for other people around you, whether that's your friends, your family, or if it even expands out into your community. In terms of, you know, our prompt today of like, what guidance can we find? I really interpret that as like, we can like feel the draw, you know, feel the pull of what it's like to show up for other people. And that can be really inspiring or motivating or just like a nice drive that we all can utilize a lot of the time. I also am feeling like gratitude in general with the Nine of Cups, you know, being able to really reflect on where we are at. I think that for some of you, this could look like allowing yourself to enjoy the things that you have or have worked for. And for some of us, it's going to be like allowing yourself to remember what you do have, and kind of like, you know, just that gentle reminder of like, you weren't always where you are now, and kind of like zooming out again. I feel like looking at things from a higher perspective is really the overarching message that I'm feeling here. And then when we have the Hermit and the Star, the Hermit leads me to feel that the guides right now are like, any guidance you're looking for, just go within, do some shadow work, do some journaling, allow yourself to go there. And again, trust. I don't know why that is. I mean, I know trust is a very universal thing. Like, we should always be trying to trust ourselves and our intuition more and more and more. However, this feels like almost like trusting that like your opinion or your feelings or your intuitive hits about something are enough. You don't need to compound proof. You don't need anything additional. You know, like what you think about something is enough to make the decisions that you need to make and move forward how you feel like you should proceed. Like what you feel, think, know to be true is enough. And then with the Star, it just kind of feels like remembering that like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You can get through something. Not only can you get through it, but you have no reason to doubt. You need to trust that you can get yourself through any situation. And your proof is where you already are. Again, a lot of this feels like meeting yourself where you're at and reflecting and trusting, right? Even with the Nine of Cups, it's like sit yourself up in your present moment and look around you. Like, look at how far you've come. And the Star is like, even if you're not at your final destination, look how far you've come, and you can still want to move forward. You can still want to make change without having a negative perspective of where you are at currently. You can want to make changes without putting yourself down, whatever the situation is in the present moment. And I think that's why we're getting a lot of self-care and flow and comforting energy, because I think for a lot of us, it's about reflecting to make change or improve or grow or move forward, but reflecting in a way that is compassionate for where we've gotten ourselves to, the choices that we have made, the proof that we can trust ourselves, we can continue to trust ourselves, we can continue to bet on ourselves. Let me just pull a couple extra oracle bits and see if there's anything that I can add to this. What is available for guidance? It feels like a reminder that like, if we feel like we need guidance, we can always go with it. You know, we always have ourselves as a guide. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. First card we got is the Holy Renewal card. This card is about rebirth and creation, initiation, but it's also about like how cyclical healing is. So again, I kind of feel like that's where we're at. Like, oh, I'm at this place where I feel like I'm at the bottom again, but remembering that that bottom was once the goal, right? So, and that can be applied to any situation. So while a lot of us may be feeling the desire for newness or inspiration, I think the inspiration and guidance can be found by reflecting and looking back and remembering that we can trust ourselves and we don't need the validation externally. The second card that we had come out is the Ancient Muse card, and I love this card. This card is about soul truths. It's a very like karmic energy. It's a very soul level energy. It talks about the higher self, and it also talks about deep inspiration. So again, the desire to propel forward, the desire for forward motion is seen. It's simply the reminder that, again, everything is cyclical, everything is in motion. And if you're looking for that boost, that jolt, that revival, then look at how many times you've already done it. It feels very like shedding of the skin as I giggle with my snake earrings. Like it feels very, but it's gentle. It's not vicious. This is a very, I'm going to take care of myself because I deserve it. I'm going to trust myself because I've looked at the life that I've created. I'm going to trust my intuition. I'm going to trust my desires. I'm going to trust that I can also provide and take the physical steps needed because I've done it every single time and gotten myself to where I am and continue to grow and expand. It is not we have to release the energy of feeling like where we're at is not good enough and instead reflect on how many steps up in total again, like in the grand scheme of if we put our next step, our next goal, our next place that we feel like we'll be like, wow, I did that. If we put that at a certain place and then where we are presently is maybe like our starting point, remembering it's not really your starting point. Do not dismiss the work that you've already put in, the expansion you've already experienced. And if you need further guidance, you have access to all of it. Anytime you want. Not only can you obviously ask your guides for assistance and signs and symbols and however you want to receive your messaging, but also sit with yourself, do a journal prompt, or just give yourself a minute to breathe, to think, to access that part of yourself. And the answers are there. And not only are the answers there, they're the correct answers. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm sending you all so much love, and I will see you in the next one.